Hello and welcome back to another session of A4Q Testing Summit. My name is Atefa Amlashi and I'm your host for this session. Today and in this session, I'm pleased to announce the launch of new ISTQB certification module, ISTQB Certified Tester Quality in DevOps. And I have, for those who may follow, you may notice for a long time, this certification at ISTQB portfolio under beta review. Now I have the authors team here with me in this session, and we want to go deeper with this syllabus, what is and why it's necessary. Welcome to this session. And I would love to ask you to introduce yourself and give us maybe a detail of your involvement in developing this syllabus. The stage is yours.
All right, maybe starting, thank you, Atefe, for the introduction and welcome everyone on this presentation. So I'm Szilárd Széll. I'm the product owner of this syllabus and I'm member of the Hungarian testing board and in this working group, as stated, working with the author team together. In my normal profession, I'm a DevOps and AI transformation lead, which gives me a lot of the background to be able to work on this syllabus. And I would like to introduce the rest of the team. So please, Kat, start your part.
Okay, thank you. And thanks for having us today. Very exciting. I'm Kat Obring. I am the founder of Cato Coaching. I have previously worked in consultancy in startups and very large companies, mainly as a quality engineer. And yeah, I was very, very excited to be invited to help author this syllabus. And I would say I'm probably the person here who pushed most for, technical stuff, because I do technical stuff. And can I hand over to Tal?
Hi, I'm Tal Pe'er. I'm from the Israel Testing Certification Board. I am a trainer and consultant with Grove Software Testing in the UK. I'm also the chair of the exam working group in this production of the QDO syllabus. I was writing the sample exam questions along with Daniel Poland, Tomasz Tumasoni, and Annette Anderkova. And I'll transfer the baton to Rick.
Thank you. Well, my name is Rick Marcelis. I'm a principal quality consultant at Society in the Netherlands. And I too was honored to be invited to contribute to this quality in DevOps syllabus. And probably what helped is that I'm one of the authors of the TMAP book, Quality for DevOps Teams. So DevOps is one of the things that I've been working on for quite a number of years. And I trust that this new syllabus will help a lot of people improve their total IT delivery. And let me hand over to Jaron.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for letting me also in. I'm happy to join this. Was happy to join this venture and this exciting teamwork. And it's definitely a very special occasion also for introducing the quality in DevOps and not just testing in DevOps as part of what we are doing and to look at the full picture. I'm more than 30 years in the industry. My profession is originally system architect, system engineering, so coming from engineering perspective, but testing was a big part of my life. I'm working at a company called Imbus, and I'm president of the Israeli board. I was also former president of ISTQB. And I'm very thrilled to be part of this team. Thank you, Szilárd, for a good leadership and all of you guys for good collaboration. It was wonderful to work with you. It was a great teamwork. And hopefully we can do things later on as well. yeah, the subject itself speak about itself. It's a total overlook at the processes and yeah, it's including a lot of also technical parts. I was also part of the DevOps United syllabus, and yeah, I will hand over now to Kari.
Thanks, Jaron. Yes, I'm Kari. I'm from Finland, where I'm a trainer and a service owner for customer experience development at Go4. I train lots of DASA DevOps courses, ISTQB testing courses, and a number of other cool stuff. And I'm in the Finnish Software Testing Board. I've been there from the start, and I also spent time actually with Jaron partially in the ISTQB Executive Committee, some 6 years altogether. And yeah, I know quite a bit of DevOps, so I've been enjoying talking to the team, which is really passionate about DevOps and quality and bringing all this into software testing world. So happy to be here as well.
Thank you for joining us. And so it's a new product, it's ISTQB portfolio. I want to start with a headline question. Why does quality engineering even matter in DevOps? What would go wrong without it? Rick, if you...
Yes, well, in the old days, people thought that you could test at the end and then maybe bring some quality into the picture. But of course, nowadays with high performance IT delivery and especially DevOps, you should build quality in from the start. So we really focus on quality engineering. That's also why this syllabus is called Quality in DevOps and not, like Jaron already said, testing in DevOps. It's much broader than that. And of course, we try to align with other approaches. Traditionally, you had this wall of confusion between the developers and the operations people. And with DevOps, you try to have a truly integrated team that together defines the quality they need, creates the quality they need, and show that they have actually achieved the right level of quality. And that can, for example, be supported by metrics like the metrics from DORA.
Okay, but if you have a skeptical engineering leader that said, okay, we already do agile and we don't need DevOps quality syllabus, how would you respond it? Maybe Kari, you can help me.
Yeah, sure. I actually meet with quite a bit because agile already promises delivery any time after the sprint if you're using Scrum and so on. But I like to say that DevOps is actually building on agile principles. So you can't really be DevOps if you don't have an agile team that is able to work as a team together, that they have all the skills needed to build a product and release it as often as they see fit. So DevOps is actually building on that, and it's really needed to have agile as well. But having agile only is typically not enough. So we see so many companies who have agile teams and still it can take months to deploy. And so this is the idea of DevOps, that we can build this bridge over that agile team and the production and the customers using the software. It can be continuous testing and pull requests and different deployment patterns, things like that can help go to the production more often.
Thank you, Kari. Szilárd, you are the product owner. We had a lot of presentation about AI and how we use AI in testing. So at the age of AI, do you think still quality engineering is still relevant when models are writing code and when models doing everything, when AI can do a lot with the coding and testing? Do you think still this quality engineering relevant?
Absolutely. Quality engineering and DevOps practices are to be honest, even more relevant in the age of AI than before, or at least as much relevant. While AI is writing the code, triaging the tickets, we still need to make sure that it's doing it in the proper level. Now AI is shipping code much more faster, right? Humans have less time to review them, but still quality expectation stays. And with the speed, the amount of quality or review or checks or tests is increasing as well. Even AI generated test needs to be tested and checked and reviewed for the same risks and to make sure that those risks are reduced. And we really believe that the practices and the theory, what we have in the syllabus, like focusing on the DORA metrics, the CALMS model, the freeways, are really durable framings. And nowadays we say that AI needs a harness to develop, to develop on quality and deliver on quality. Now the DevOps practices are giving that harness. So if you want to work properly with AI-driven or agentic software development lifecycle, knowing the DevOps principles, the quality engineering principles are even more important than before.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Again, Kat, you may sat in a lot of conversation where teams asked you whether they should just use Copilot instead of investing on quality engineering practices. How do you respond them?
Yeah, that question has come up. And in fact, yes. So as Szilard already mentioned a little bit, with AI agents doing a lot of the work we can do, the output increases, right? We have more output that comes faster. But as quality engineers, we of course want to make sure that this is still solid output, that security has been considered, that the code is actually safe to release. So one of the things that Agile proposes, of course, is to shift quality left. But I think with the increase of output we have, it's also really important that we shift quality right. And DevOps practices can help in multiple ways. If we set up a CI/CD pipeline properly, which technically is a CD pipeline, but there's a little nitpick for you. If you set that up properly, then that becomes a gate that ensures that quality is checked and that we can rely on the safety of the code that we release and the quality of the product that we release. And the shifting right bit comes in where DevOps also encourages the tool of or the tooling for observability, for telemetry, for chaos engineering, for example, all of which are tools that can support the bigger or the checking of the bigger output of code, because it is not realistic that a human reviews every change themselves. So we will need tooling to allow that. So yeah, I think what we're trying to do is we kind of want to enable the tools to support the practice, right? So they're not a replacement for them, but they are enablers. That is our take on this.
Thank you. Let's walk in through what's in DevOps Fundamentals chapter at a level of a practitioner would actually use. What's the spin here? Carrie,
So
maybe.
I can take that. Yeah, I can take that. Yeah, absolutely. There are so many ways to describe DevOps that it's sometimes even hard to choose from. So for the syllabus, we were looking into the literature quite a bit, and we chose to talk about the 3 ways of DevOps, which is originally from a Phoenix project book. Very nice book, by the way. If you ever get that, read it. So those 3 ways are flow, creating a flow of items from idea to production, then feedback, all the time trying to understand what works and what doesn't work, and then continuous learning, which is utilizing that feedback consciously and making better quality all the time. So that's really quality engineering approach as well, we like to think. Another one that we picked to the syllabus is CALMS. CALMS comes from the words culture, automation, lean, measurement, and sharing. And that's also quite nicely describing the different things that needs to change when you built DevOps into an organization. So it's not only the technical pipeline that changes, it's much more. And of course, you need to measure. So there we like to talk to DORA's metrics, and the most famous of those are deployment frequency. So how often do you deploy into production? So the idea is this: it's nicer if it's very small, like in a few hours, in a few days. Change lead time, second one, which really means that how quickly an idea travels to production. So instead of years, it's better if it's days. Change failure percentage, that's the third one, meaning how often things go wrong when you are in production. So nice to have a small percentage there. And then the final one, if things go wrong, so failed deployment recovery time. How quickly can you recover? And again, in good DevOps organizations, you have a small number right there. So trying to get to these goals really makes you as an organization better in terms of DevOps.
Mm-hmm. I want to continue. I'm asking about chapter 2, where the CI/CD pipeline comes in. What does continuous testing really mean, and how is it different from the automated or regression suites?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because many times when we hear continuous testing, people think that means we are continuously executing test cases. So like we have automated regression test and that's all, but it's not. Continuous testing means actually the fact that we provide that feedback that Kari mentioned, the second way of DevOps. We provide that feedback, that signal into every stage of the value stream. So from almost everywhere to everywhere, we provide the feedback. So even when we talk about, is this what the customer really want in continuous discovery, in the beginning of the value stream, when we answer that question, it's already continuous testing. So CI/CD in the DevOps loop is extended to the left, and we start the DevOps loop with continuous discovery, but it's also extended to the right into continuous deployment and release on demand and continuous monitoring, where actually we are measuring through telemetry and observability how the system behaves and how the end user, the customer, gets the value. So with that, we close the DevOps loop, where the CI/CD pipeline is the spine, is the backbone behind that, the technology backbone.
Mm-hmm. And surprising point, chapter 3 spends real time on manual testing. Some readers will be surprised. Isn't DevOps about automating everything? Why have you dedicated entire chapter to this manual?
It's a good point. Many people think DevOps is all about automation, but it's definitely a big part of that. And so in this chapter, we try to balance test automation and manual testing. So there's a place for both, even in very quick CI/CD pipelines that DevOps culture enables. And so a few examples there: exploratory testing has a good place every now and then. You could have a format of quality hunting there, where you together try to figure out the quality level of a software at the given time. So you can schedule these events there. You can also use contract testing. You can use crowd testing, and these also have a significant portion of manual work in them. And whatever you do in terms of manual testing, you also need to tell the team and the stakeholders about it. So we have a chapter on quality reporting. How do you put together the automation and manual testing results into a nice, easy to use quality report or dashboard, maybe.
Chapter 1.2 is the syllabus is about people, roles, team patterns, anti-patterns. Why did the authoring team feel that it needs the entire syllabus or chapter about this topic? Why didn't you include this topic into the fundamentals session of syllabus?
Yeah, well, let me answer that. So basically, to make DevOps succeed, it depends heavily on the people, because a lot of people think that DevOps is about tooling, but basically it is about collaboration between people. And a definition of DevOps is that it is a culture. So it is about how people work together. And that's what we wanted to express. So that's why it is in the first chapter of the syllabus. And yeah, there are many descriptions of DevOps. For example, there's the DevOps handbook that says a lot about it, but also you have site reliability engineering, and they have different views, but both emphasize that DevOps is about people working together very well. And what we have done in the syllabus, we wrote some patterns, but also some anti-patterns. And for example, what you don't want to have is Dev and Ops as two silos in your team. You want to have a truly integrated and collaborating team. And therefore also, you probably don't want people to only fulfill one role, but people can be involved in multiple tasks and can switch roles over time. And yeah, that's why we put such a strong emphasis on having the people making the difference actually when implementing DevOps.
Yeah. Following this question, what is the most underappreciated team pattern or anti-pattern in the chapter? The one that you wish more organization would internalize that.
Well, I think very important is that the operations part is fully integrated. And traditionally, often developers thought they could just throw something over a virtual wall to the operations people. But to make DevOps truly work, you need to be integrated together. And another thing that helps is that when there is a problem, then not just the operations people, but everybody in the team is asked to solve the problem. And on the one hand, that caters for having quicker and better solutions. But on the other hand, it makes the developers aware that they should not cut corners or anything, because they will also themselves be involved in solving problems if there are any issues in the live operation. And that way, quality is the responsibility of every person in the team and the team as a whole.
Thank you, Rick. And chapter 4. Chapter 4 is about technology, tools, practices supporting DevOps. There is a lot in there. Release strategies, infrastructure as code, feature, branching. How did you decide what made the cut?
Yeah, so thank you. Jaron, if you don't mind, I will take that and you can add anything you would like that I miss. So what we wanted to do is give quality engineering practitioners a good overview of things they may need to recognize and they may need to talk about with their team. So this is really a collection of practices and tools that will help them support their team in DevOps practices. And it is really important to us that people first analyze the needs of their team and then map a tool to that need, rather than think we must use that this tool and then kind of try to bend their team to the tool. That is the wrong way around. So there is a lot of choice. Not necessarily every team will need to use all of the methodologies and tools that or practices that we are describing, but we wanted to give a good overview to people. And some of these practices, I think they are a little bit different to what people normally think about when they say testing, or what they mean when we say something has been tested. For example, something like certain release strategies. If we do a canary release or a blue-green release, right? That is not a traditional testing method, but that is a method that helps us make sure to assess the quality of our application before it reaches all of our customers, and makes it easier, for example, to decide if we need to do a rollback necessarily. And the same is true for things like infrastructure as code or containerization. That helps us provide it helps us make things repeatable, and we can remove some of the vagaries we see in testing sometimes, where something works in one environment but then doesn't work in another environment because these environments are configured differently. So we can avoid these things if we use things like infrastructure as code and containerization. And we wanted to allow people to familiarize themselves with these concepts so that they can use them in their teams. Did I miss anything, Jaron? Anything to add?
I think you definitely capture broad of the things. What we also did, we put some kind of links to places where the people can see, okay, because the tooling is always evolving, and also the information, the features, but also the spec of the tools are evolving. So we also put some links so the people could always be up to date with the tooling stuff and what the capability is, what they can do. So exactly as you said, Kat, so we will lead towards the tool which is necessary, and not that the tool will lead us to do the things. Yeah? So the tools are there to serve us and our needs. Yeah, thanks.
Yaron, if you had to choose among all specific practices that been introduced in chapter 4.2, which one you choose and why?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think we see there a mix, okay, because there are different parts, and that's the beauty that we have in chapter 4 in that sense. So we put the things in blocks, okay, with the tools, with their capabilities, as well with the release. So I wouldn't pick up one, okay, because then I think it's we will at the end come to the point that the people will go to one chapter or one part of this chapter and learn. No, all of them together is really the majority of what they need to know in this chapter. The point, the leading point is, of course, as Kat said, is from the needs. Then we think about the things from strategic perspective, and then we analyze based on the needs which kind of capabilities are fit for us. So as you can see, it's streaming through this chapter, and it's not just to pick up one, which is maybe written lovely or So it's really into to understand the full picture. So I'm sorry that I didn't pick up one, but for me, I'm looking at it as a whole and as a stream, because it's really directing to you, or enabling you and the reader and the practitioner to do the things in the right way.
Okay, then I come back with another question. Where does a tester typically not belong in tooling conversation?
Oh, yeah. So, Kat, is it fine that I will take that as well?
Okay.
Yeah. you please, you will complete me if I'm wrong there too. So, basically, the things with the tools that from testing perspective, then this is for the testers. But let's not fall into even from quality. It's better to give those who are in charge for the code to deal with the tools which are required for codes, and those who are in charge for the maintenance and all of the monitoring, for them to pick up based on their knowledge and experience. So each part in the organization better to come with their knowledge, their domain or technology knowledge, to support and pick up the correct tools per the needs. So that's the key focus that I would say that it's important. and it's useful to follow. Yeah. And the testers, they can take with respect to the capabilities of things, okay, and not specifically what we serve the needs of the system or the product and so on. And they definitely, from the total quality management perspective, the testers need to be looked at the full process, okay, and the traceability between the tools, the way that the things are reported in a quality way, things which related to the test environment, the management of testing, of course, and all of these parts which are tailored and also supply feedback to the management from quality perspective, as well as to the testers themselves, okay, through the whole process with the DevOps.
Thank you. Pulling back from
Kat,
the...
maybe you have something to add as well. Sorry.
Well, thank you. I think you covered it beautifully. Maybe one small thing to add is that testers definitely should try to understand tooling, even if it's not tooling they necessarily immediately use or can decide on the usage of. And I would like to come back to one thing that Szilárd mentioned in the beginning about AI and scaffolding around AI. I think the more AI-enabled tooling enters our work stream, the more testers will need to focus on building scaffolding for quality in that work stream and move away from the manual verification of points, right? We want to enable a system of tooling that can apply our decisions on the workflow rather than having to be there and be the gate, so to speak, right?
And I fully agree with you, Kat. And just to add one more thing on top of that is that still with AI, our accountability is there as we are accountable for that. It's not the tools. We enable the tools. We make them running better each time. Okay, we improve their capabilities with what we need within the pipe. Yeah. But at the end, it's our duty to monitor them to see that they are doing the correct things and not falling as well, because they are piece of code as well. Yeah, but thanks, Kat. Very good point with respect to tooling in the current situation.
Okay. So now, if a certified individual goes back to their team Monday morning, what should they actually be able to do differently? Anyone? I'm asking all of you, and I would appreciate your response.
Maybe I'll throw in something first. So something that is in past about 10 years actually in ISTQB syllabi is that we have lots of hands-on, very practical exercises. So those actually enable participants to take things home on the Monday morning work very, very quickly. So for example, they can actually build a CI/CD pipeline because we actually practice that on the course. Anybody, anything else?
I think you nailed the main part here is to take the possibility while learning how to do to take it practically, and especially those who are freshers and come to learn from fresh. I think that both, or maybe all of us said that in one point here, is that it's all about quality as a whole, okay? And it's not just testing, it's not just one part. Even if we're coming from ISTQB, which is testing oriented, it's a quality as a whole. And we need to look at that in this kind of holistic way, yeah? So it's, and DevOps is per se a practical method, okay? A practical approach. So it's practical. And thanks, Kari, you absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, and then also it is about reporting about the quality levels based on both the information you get with automated tools, but also the information you get manually, and make that a nice story together to tell your stakeholders about the quality of the system.
Also in the CI/CD, we want our students to understand how to design a CI/CD pipeline, how to help the organization to implement from scratch, to have a proper loop. So these will be also practiced in the hands-on exercises, as Kari mentioned.
Yeah, maybe if I could add one more thing. So I think we have tried through the practical exercises that we have included into the syllabus, or at least for me, that is really important, to give people an opportunity to experience different actions they can take to help build quality applications that are slightly different activities from maybe what is the traditional understanding of testing, to show people that there are many, many ways in which we can contribute to building quality into the product.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you yeah,
sentence from
please.
the point of view of a trainer, because this is a good question that many students ask me, and I like to close the circle back to what Kari said earlier. Many of the ISTQB syllabi offer tools, and every student should take those tools and check where the team he or she are working in, where's the team standing in this process. What tools can I implement? What tools will give the best value and quick value to the team, and start implementing those.
Thank you, Todd. I know that you did something special. You used GitHub to write this syllabus. For our audience who are involved in writing standards or preparing that training materials, I want to know, or maybe you can explain shortly, because it's like that we are over time, why you start using GitHub and stop using Word, for example, for this.
So it is literally a little bit, the idea was really, you have heard of the idea of dog fooding, right? Using your own product. And that was really the idea, work in the way that we preach. So that is why we use GitHub. And it was really, really useful. It allowed us to have a fairly quick turnaround on the things. So we would write a chapter, commit it to GitHub, and then we would ask our co-authors for reviews. They would review. We could then fix whatever questions came up and immediately merge. And that way we could surface any conflicts easily. It was very easy to review things because GitHub makes it really easy to review these changes. And in a way, we made it testable for ourselves, right? So I think this was a really, really good way of doing it. And I am pleased to say that many of our reviewers commented on the high quality of the material pretty much from the beginning. So I think it worked really well. I don't know if any of you want to add something about how you experienced this.
Maybe adding as well that we had the CI/CD pipeline, which created the different output documents as well. So PDF was generated automatically. So we immediately see the end result while we were creating it. So we started with an empty template, but it was already in the end format. And we actually gradually grew it in an incremental way, just like how you do with the DevOps-based products.
Yeah, and all of the parts of the syllabus, they are artifacts, okay? We treat them as artifacts, and we treat them as really with a life cycle there, okay? So with a pull and pushes and also commits, as also really, and how to do it. And also it was great that we had experts that joined us. And of course, if you see Kat, okay, how she's treating this, this is really the right way. So lots of command lines that makes the things much easier and fast, okay, not through the console. So it's really how to see the practitioner really practicing that as well. And definitely, we had this additional tool. We had the Slack, so it was completing the picture from communication. So it's definitely, as explained, the trigger, but also via the Slack, we could communicate, okay, please take care now, it's already out, etc. So yeah, it was a good, I think that was, as a whole, it was a very good way to practice it. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would definitely recommend it for the next, for others.
Good. Thank you. Now, as an audience, I learned about the development process. I learned why it's important and why we need it. You convinced me, but how I can get this certification? Tal, I'm asking you.
Okay, so what do you do? Well, first of all, you need to register for the exam, and on the day of launch or immediately after, the big exam providers and some of the member boards of ISTQB will offer this exam, including ISQI, GSQ, and Brightest. But to start, you need to have the ISTQB Foundation, to hold the ISTQB Foundation certificate, because that's the prerequisite for all of ISTQB syllabi, including certification, including this one. That is the first step in your career path for every tester. Take the ISTQB Foundation, and then you can apply for this certification.
But who is this exam for?
Any tester and any practitioner who is working in DevOps or moving into DevOps, this will help a lot. This is not aimed at new testers. They need to learn the basics. They need to know the basics. So that's what Foundation is for. And it's very useful for anyone wants to move into quality engineering roles like in DevOps team, not just test the DevOps pipelines, but engineer quality across the entire pipeline, from start of the DevOps until the product is deployed at the customer's site.
So as a candidate, how I can get ready for my certification exam? What about the training, or if I can do self-study, if I register for training?
Take a course, preferably an accredited course by one of the ISTQB member boards. And any training provider who wants to get their course accredited should do like any other accreditation. Write the course, meet the accreditation guidelines, including having an exercise for every learning objective of level K3 and K4, and hands-on, which require exercises, and apply for accreditation at your local member board.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And to closing, because we don't have that much time, I want to ask all of you, what's the thing you most want the listener have as a takeaway from this presentation?
I think work together is really what you need to do in any kind of an organization.
I think it's very important to shift left, to shift right, and have a balanced list of these practices, balancing it for your needs, how much you move in which direction. Close the feedback loops and make sure that you provide feedback to every stage of the value stream.
Yeah, I kind of with Kari a little bit here, but also use the right tooling that allows everybody in the team to bring in whatever specific talents and skills they have, and use all of those skills.
Yeah, and understand that it is a truly collaborative approach. So it is not about just one skill or one task that you need to be very good at, but you need to know about all the things that are happening in a cross-functional DevOps team.
I think quality is built in and not added later. So this approach will help a lot in building quality. So first thing what you need to do, get a syllabus and get a certification. Of course, if you have foundation first.
Thank you very much. Get ready to get this certification. It's a new certification and it's a lot to explore. Thank you very much for joining this session, and tomorrow we will come back with more session at A4Q Testing Summit. If you like this presentation, you can scan the QR code and vote for this presentation. And if you miss any presentation, you always can rewatch at our website or at A4Q YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.